Hi everyone, it's Tasleem here, and I know I haven't been here for a while, but this video is so fitting for the reasoning behind it. So, have you ever had a knowing, like an inner feeling, just like a deep down inside, you know something is wrong? I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be wrong, but in my case it is, that something isn't quite right in your environment or with someone that you meet, and you can't really put your finger on it. You can't exactly show it to someone. You don't have proof, but you just know. Well, this has been my situation for definitely the past couple of weeks, but I would say probably the past couple of years. I brought it up 2 years ago, and now other things have come up. I was ignored at that time, and now other things have come up to make me think that I was right. So basically, in my apartment, my little sanctuary, I love it. You've seen videos of me doing my talks in my apartment, and I love what I've done with it. But I feel like there is a mold issue. I don't have proof in terms of like showing someone where it is. I don't have the exact pinpoint place or why or how, but I just feel it. I feel it within my bones, kind of literally, because I'm realizing that a lot of the health issues that I've had that I didn't have prior to the last couple of years are more like mold toxicity type of issues. 2 years ago, when I first felt this and brought it up to my managers, I was ignored. Tried to get a mold inspection done in my apartment, could only afford like the surface part of it and didn't do air quality testing. But I decided to spend the money, or actually my family helped me, the rest of it on getting a mold test for my body. Sure enough, it came out that I have very high levels of a very toxic mold in my system. I was going through lots of treatments, paying lots of money. I still am trying to get this out of my system, and it's been really tough. And I thought I was kind of like through it. I was getting there. I was getting better, I thought. But some things recently have come up in my apartment that made me realize that there still is a mold issue. It's not that the mold has gone away. And I have brought it up now to managers and to, my neighbors can kind of feel it or are sort of on my side about this. But you're probably wondering, well, how does this relate to your previous videos? Like, what is this about? Well, this topic is about how Kizomba dance got me in touch with my third eye chakra and intuition. So in order to be able to sense these crazy things that happen that we can't necessarily see, but we feel and we just know, you have to be in touch with your third eye chakra, which is right here behind your eyes, kind of thing, in between your eyes. And that center is in Sanskrit known as ajna, which translates to the commanding center, the command center. It's really where it's called the third eye because it acts like an eye, but it's not just the things you see with your outer eyes. It's what you see internally, what you just know, what you feel, what your intuition is telling you. And it's something that other people will not necessarily be able to see the same way as you. But when you're really in touch with it, you just really know. And unfortunately, I doubted myself 2 years ago. I let it go. I kind of did my own thing, worked on my body, and thought, okay, it's not in my surroundings, but I think it is. So how would Kizomba get you in touch with this third eye intuition thing? Well, Kizomba, for any of you who have danced it or not danced it, maybe I'm going to give you a different perception on it, is a very close dance done with partners. And it is, you're not actually able to use your eyes when you're dancing that close with someone, because if you were to use your eyes, you'd bump heads, you'd be looking down at, trying to look at their feet, and you'd topple over on top of each other, because you're supposed to be pretty close, and there was kind of like a upper body connection, and you're not even traveling that much in Kizomba dancing. So you really have to rely on an inner feeling, an inner knowing, intuition, your third eye chakra. And it doesn't just come to you. It doesn't just appear. It's like, if you are connected and tapped into your intuition and your third eye is open, then you can feel these things. But if people have told you to, forget about your visualizations, your imagination, that stuff is not real, that reality is only what you see, then you would have been slowly shutting down your third eye. If you've been through trauma, or if you've been through things that make your eyes not want to see, not want to experience what you've seen before because it's been really difficult, your eyes, your vision actually can, I wear glasses. I've worn glasses and contacts from a very, very young age. And I just thought that's what happened to me. Like, that's, some people have good vision and some people don't. But over the years, I've been learning that you can actually naturally heal your vision and bring it back to normal, because if you look into what it is that caused your vision to shut down on the outside, usually it's something that's happening on the inside, something that your body was like, I don't want to see this anymore. This is too much for us to see. You get blurred vision. You lose your memory. If you don't have very good memory, some of you out there might not have very good vision, and it's not a coincidence that they come hand in hand. Because in order to have a memory, you need to visualize. You need to use your inner knowing, your inner vision. And if your body is like, no, don't want to remember that, that was too hard, we needed to get over it, so we've shut it out of our memory, then your eyes actually could be really affected by it. I have heard and seen of people curing themselves of blindness. And it is amazing to me, but at the same time, I'm like, this shouldn't be so shocking to me, because it makes sense. When we shut out our outer vision of being able to see, because our inside, internal emotions, trauma has seen too much for us to handle, of course our vision is going to get blurry, and we're going to get, stigmatisms and like blurry vision, or not being like farsighted, nearsighted, cataracts, all of those things. I am not surprised to learn that actually it's more to do with what we allow into our sight, and what we think we have a right to see, and what we don't. And so I feel like when I was dancing Kizomba, if I was not in touch with my inner knowing, with my inner eye, my third eye, I could not feel what the partner that I was dancing with was doing. And I was completely out of touch when I was first dancing this dance. I was trying to figure it out, which is tricky, because in Kizomba there's not like there's a few basic steps, but you don't do them on a certain count. You don't do them on a certain beat. It's, you're really feeling, and in order to feel, you have to really have that inner knowing and practice it. And I always loved having my eyes closed when I danced Kizomba. At the time, I didn't put these concepts together. I wasn't thinking, oh, it's because this will help me tap into my third eye chakra. I was just like, this feels so good. And when I don't have my eyes open, I don't get distracted by the things that I can see around me, and I'm just focusing on the feeling. But what I realize now is that it wasn't just focusing on the feeling for the sense of feeling, it was also focusing on the feeling and shutting out my outer eyes so that I could tap into my inner eyes. And I love this because with a dance like Kizomba that tapped me more into my inner knowing, I am so much better able to sense when something feels off in my surroundings, like possible mold in my surroundings, even though I can't show it to someone, or that, someone I might be hanging out with, like, they feel like, oh, I think they're nice, they seem really generous, they're putting a lot of effort and time into me, but maybe inside I feel like there's something off. Like, I can tell more if someone is lying to me because of this inner knowing. When people talk and, they're just BSing, I might have in the past thought, oh, okay, like that makes sense. It's really believable. So why would I think they're lying? But now I'm so tapped in that I can sense when someone is not telling the truth, no matter how convincing they are. And I can also sense when someone is in trouble, when they're saying, they have a smile on their face and they're saying, oh, I'm doing really well. I can sense it because I'm so much more tapped into the third eye. And a dance like Kizomba got me there. It got me, so I had to practice. Like, in the beginning, I was like, how do people feel these little nuanced steps and little nuanced body rolls and like just like a twist in the chest that's so like a micro movement. But the more I did it, I'm sure the more I was connecting with my third eye and opening it up and saying, third eye, I trust you. I'm allowing my trust to come back, even though situations in the past might have shut me off from that, even though I might not have wanted to see with my eyes. And I wouldn't be surprised if my eyesight started getting better, because I have seen some of those connections where you get more tapped into your third eye and your outer eyes get more connected and see better and see more deeply. And this doesn't even just have to do with what you see around you when you're awake, but this also has to do with your dreams. Like, if you're one of those people that can't recall your dreams, you might need to be a little bit more connected in your third eye. If you're one of those people that can't remember your memories from the past, if you start connecting with your third eye and telling it that you have its back, like you're trusting it, or maybe your third eye is already very, trustworthy, but it's saying that your body doesn't trust it yet. The more you practice trusting, the more you practice feeling into it, the more you practice actually saying, I have a right to see, and I have a right to see in my way, and I have a right to imagine in my dreams. The more you tell your dreams and your inner vision and your imagination that we're bringing this back, and I'm listening, and I'm observing, and I'm taking things in, and also allowing myself to see. So you're allowing yourself to see and be seen. And this really, for me, I realized this recently, that Kizomba had a huge part to do in this, a huge part to play in this. And it allowed me to see that other dances should be danced that way as well, that I should be able to close my eyes in salsa or in zouk, or at least feel into, instead of looking at where the feet are. And then, of course, I'm able to use this in my everyday life. And now I'm determined to prove, or maybe it's not even my job to prove, but just to stand by myself, to stand with myself in just knowing that there is something wrong in my apartment. And even if the management or the people around me can't see it, I can feel it. And I'm not going to give in this time and just say, oh no, I must be wrong. I should doubt myself. No. Thank you, Kizomba, for helping me be more trusting of myself and my intuition and how I see things, and believing that I have a right to see things the way that I see them, even if other people don't. So thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you guys all soon.